right, welcome back in. Zach Gelb Show outside of Arm & Hammer Park for the Trenton Thunder game. Time right now as we broadcast back to the Princeton Orthopedic Associates Studios is 4:16. This is the Zach Gelb Show. A lot of NBA talk in this area this time of the year with the excitement of the Philadelphia 76ers and then the disaster of the New York Knicks. So we decided to go a little bit national here to get a little update on the NBA. And that's going to be with Sean Deveney from the Sporting News, who's kind enough to join us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. Sean, we always appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for the time. And how are you on this fine Thursday?
I'm doing well, Zach. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. My iPhone is currently disabled, so you know how much us in the media rely on iPhones and Twitter and all that. So I'm panicking right now, Sean. I'm going to be honest with you.
You're going to make it. You're going to be all right.
I just hope so. I hope I can remember my password. For some reason, I'm having a brain fart, and it's not good. I'm like the New York Knicks right now. I'm very incompetent when it comes to dealing with things. And if you take a look at the New York Knicks, there's a report today up in New York with Frank Isola that Isaiah Thomas is a dark horse for this Knicks job. Please tell me this isn't going to happen.
I saw that as well, and I really have a hard time believing that James Dolan is going to go back down that road. He does have this weird obsession with Isaiah Thomas. It's certainly strange, but he really did embarrass the franchise, not just with the way they performed while he was there, but also with the sexual harassment lawsuit. I got to think that if they really get serious about hiring Isaiah Thomas, that Adam Silver's going to place a call and say, hey, that's not a great idea. Maybe you guys should not be doing that, considering the embarrassment that was there last time.
If he even thinks about it, and I know that they're very close, Silver should suspend him for the next 50 years.
That might be an overreach on the part of the commissioner, but I certainly think there's a lot of Knicks fans that would absolutely agree with you.
I did like, though, how you brought up the league, because we all saw what happened here being in New Jersey down the turnpike into Philadelphia with the league's influence that everyone knows about with trying to get Sam Hinkie out. How much of a league influence do you think that the league's going to have with this Knicks next hire?
I don't think that they'll get too involved with that. Assuming that nothing goes haywire. I think that the league will, they don't want to get involved in these things, and it's only when they feel something's happening that's hurting the league in general, and other owners complain enough, then that's when you see something happen. I don't think we're at that sort of critical mass for this Knicks franchise, not yet at least.
Okay, so we look at some of the names that have been rumored, Masai Ujiri, David Griffin, and then also the latest one today was Sam Presti of the Thunder. Who do you think ends up getting this job, or who are some people that you will consider for this job with the Knicks?
Yeah, I think Ujiri would be the ideal fit there. He's a guy who obviously did a great job in Denver, goes to Toronto, and did a great job there. The fellow that the Knicks have hired to sort of consult them during this process, Tim Lewicki, he's come from Toronto and knows Ujiri well, so you have to think he'll at least be a serious candidate. Griffin would be obviously we know the success that he had both in Phoenix and in Cleveland as well. So he kind of comes with a ready-made resume. Presti would be a good fit as well. I don't know that he has much interest in leaving Oklahoma City right now, but certainly he's still a young guy and a guy who would be an upgrade over what they've had there in New York, no question.
Do you think Ujiri would want to jump ship?
Yeah, I think he would. I don't think he necessarily is looking for a move, but if he's going to get a major raise and take on the challenge of rebuilding the Knicks, I think that's something that he would certainly consider. And that's something that pretty much everywhere he's gone, he's had some success. So I would think he's got enough ego, as most people in those jobs do, to think that, hey, I'm the guy who can fix this thing. I think if I had to pick any of the three that you mentioned or any of the other possible candidates, I would say Ujiri is probably their best bet and also probably the most likely to actually wind up with the job.
With Carmelo Anthony, we know that was a very contentious relationship between Phil and Carmelo. What's in store for the future of Carmelo Anthony when it comes to being on the New York Knicks?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it matters who's the next general manager. I think that they need to take care of that situation either way and get him somewhere else. And whether it's through a trade or more likely through a buyout, then that's the next step for them. And I think it's going to be a buyout. I think he winds up somewhere else. Obviously, they don't want to necessarily pay him to be playing for somebody else. But I think that's where this is all leading. Potentially, there could be a trade with Houston, and we'll see how that works out. But he's always wanted to play with Chris Paul. He has the opportunity to do that now. I think that's where he lands.
We're talking to Sean Deveney right now on the Zach Gelb Show from the Sporting News, covers the NBA, does a fantastic job as we're outside of Arm & Hammer Park getting ready for the Trenton Thunder game later tonight. Let's move on to the Sixers. We've heard some rumors who they're going to target for free agency. J.J. Redick is the big name. A lot of writers are also saying Ilyasova, and then there's been some talk of a reunion with Andre Iguodala. What do you think makes sense for the Sixers in this free agency period?
Well, they're not going to go overboard for in terms of the length of contract and the money. And a guy like J.J. Redick would be a nice fit. They need a shooter, no question. But he might be out of their price range in the end. We'll see what other offers he gets, of course. But if he's going to cost too much over too many years, I don't think that's something that they necessarily want to commit to. But yeah, you could probably say the same for Iguodala. I think he probably still winds up sticking around in Golden State, but they're just not quite sure what kind of contract he's going to wind up getting, whether it's a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. That's the big sticking point on that one. So I think in the end it'll probably be more modest type free agents, more modest acquisitions here. If they're going to go all in on a veteran, at a big number, I think that's something that they would probably wait till next year to see, how this group plays together, whether they can stay healthy. I think that's obviously still a big question, and what they might be able to do on the trade market. I think that's an issue that's still out there as well.
I really like the fit of J.J. Redick for this team, but like you were just saying, I wonder what the contract will look like. Who are some of the other teams, just so we could get a picture of this, that the Sixers are going to be competing with for the services of one J.J. Redick?
Well, there's been a lot of interest, and they'll have to see in terms of cap space. But a team like certainly Houston is likely to get involved with all the moves they've made and the cap space that they now have cleared out. That'll be an interesting one. Across town, you'll have the Lakers if they're able to make a move with a guy like a Paul George, then a guy like Redick coming in and helping and providing that distance shooting and being able to spread the floor. That's something that they would look at as well. Milwaukee will have interest. They don't have quite enough money. I think they'd have to make a deal in order to create some space. But yeah, there'll be a number of teams that are seriously looking at Redick heading into free agency here.
Where is Paul George playing next year, Sean?
I think he winds up with the Lakers. I think as much as Boston is trying and trying earnestly to bring him to Boston and can put together a pretty good package in order to get him, as much as the Rockets are going to try, as much as the Cavaliers will consider it as well, and wonder if they should trade Kevin Love. I think in the end, the Lakers, everybody knows he wants to be with the Lakers. He'll sign somewhere else, but, he's made it pretty clear that the Lakers are where he would prefer to be. So I think if you're the Lakers and you're going to sit back, you're going to wait and watch and see where these offers come from, see what the offers are, and then come out and match them and come out and say, okay, they're offering you this, but we can give you that. And I think before Kevin Pritchard, the GM there in Indiana, before he makes any decisions, he's going to call the Lakers last and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do for Paul George with, say, Boston, and then the Lakers will have the opportunity to match that or beat it.
If what you are saying right now actually does happen, as we're talking to Sean Deveney, and Paul George does end up with the Lakers, does that mean LeBron James will eventually join Paul George in L.A. like we're hearing with all these rumors right now?
Yeah, I think it's a legitimate possibility. Obviously, what the Cavs have done in the last few weeks have made it easy for LeBron to look at their situation and say, I don't want to stay here much longer. That there's no direction here, and the owner, kind of stuck it to the old general manager, and this isn't necessarily where I want to be. So I think that certainly has helped open the door, and the fact that he has a house in L.A. and might be willing to make that change. I think that has really opened up that possibility more than I would have said would have been possible even just a couple months ago.
Sean, I got two more before we let Sean Deveney run. Just this offseason, the offseason has been more exciting than what happened in the regular season, and I guess a large portion of that is because of what the Warriors have done, where it's only been a one-team league, and now everyone is trying to play catch-up with the Warriors, or just trying to give them more of a fight when it comes to next season. Just how about the current landscape of basketball, where these last week and with the draft and everything, and then also what we're going to see when free agency officially starts, that this is going to be something that's been more exciting than the actual regular season?
Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been fun. It's been a lot of twists and turns. I think the problem for Adam Silver is, you can't take the attention that the league gets in the off season and monetize it. There's no way to charge tickets for ticket prices for this. And what's happening is that in the regular season, interest is down, and that's a problem, because that's when you're supposed to be making your money. So these super teams are fun to watch and to see how they're put together at this time of year. But if nobody's that interested in watching the games when they're actually being played in January and February, then the league has a problem. And people will be watching the Warriors for sure. And if the Rockets complete what they're doing, or the Celtics or whatever, then people will be watching those games as well. But the problem is that most teams, your average team in the NBA, is going to be struggling to get viewers on the regional networks and to get fans in the door.
And then finally, Sean, before we let you run, Markelle Fultz, you cover the league for a very long time. Everyone in Philadelphia is very excited. You hit on the health. That's a big thing with Embiid and Simmons, seeing what it's been for the last few years with Embiid, and then what we saw last year with Simmons. Just how about Fultz right now as he continues to add in here into the fold here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I'm looking forward in about 10 days, I guess, going to Vegas and seeing him in summer league, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that this guy has the potential to be a legitimate star, and I think that his ability to score, his ability to handle the ball, all those things are going to be fun to watch. He's also an injury concern, though. I mean, he had the knee injury at the end of the year there in Washington, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. And that's certainly given what Sixers fans have gone through with injuries the last couple of years, that's something that you've got to at least be a little concerned about.
Sean, great stuff as always. Make sure you read Sean Deveney with the Sporting News. We appreciate the insight as always, my friend.
All right, Zach, thanks.
Thanks so much. All right, good stuff with Sean Deveney. We have an update on the phone. We tried both passwords. I'm now waiting 59 minutes. It's not working, so looks like after the show concludes, I'll be going to Verizon, or maybe I'll have Liz do this for me. Liz, you may be helping me out. You may be getting an extra hour of pay. We could do that, right? Yeah, I sign your paycheck sheet anyway and make sure the hours are all good. I got to figure out how to back this thing up, and I may have to, dare I say it, I didn't want to go down this road. I may have to wipe my phone clean and try it again. This is not good. Not good right now. But good stuff with Sean Deveney. Why did they create cell phones? I love cell phones, but they always cause more problems. They really do. And right now, my phone is disabled for 58 minutes. Oy, this is not good. I'm in near tears. All about trying to get a picture when Mike Ford joins us. That's what this is for. Hey, Zach, how'd your phone get disabled? I was trying to change my passcode, turn off the passcode so we could have the fine people here that work with us take some pictures when Mike Ford comes by. And then, boom, there we go. Now I don't have a connection working on my cell phone. And I think what I did was I may have, when I was trying to turn it off, you have to enter your password, and I may have changed my password doing it and put in the wrong password. So now I'm never going to remember this. This is terrible. So after the show, I may use your phone and get some things going as we're getting ready for the big July 4th weekend. Just a programming note. I will be on the air tomorrow. Yep, on Friday. Monday, I am off. And Tuesday, I am off. So you won't have to deal with me again until Wednesday once the show does end on Friday. But good stuff with Sean Deveney. And I'll say this, getting back to the Knicks. Masai Ujiri, I'd be on board for. Griffin, I'd be on board for. And also Presti, I would be on board for. All guys that have experience. Let's not get unorthodox here. Let's not get super creative. Let's not try to be bold and just try to win over the headlines and the back pages of the newspapers these days if you're the Knicks. Please, if you do anything, and I mean anything, that is stupid here, which is not out of the possibility because James Dolan is a terrible owner with the New York Knicks. But if he does the ultimate stupid decision by bringing back Isaiah Thomas to run the New York Knicks, it would be the most foolish thing I could maybe ever see an owner doing. Because if you look back at that career of Isaiah Thomas in New York during the 4-year span that he was here, he was 112 and 216. How would you bring this guy back? And as embarrassing as he was on the court, he was even more embarrassing and cost you a lot of millions off the court because of the sexual harassment lawsuit. There is no way. I wonder what naked pictures that James Dolan sent to Isaiah Thomas, that Isaiah Thomas has now, that they may even consider, even for a slight second, bringing back Isaiah Thomas. When I saw the report today from Frank Isola that Isaiah Thomas was a dark horse to potentially run the Knicks again, I'm not even a Knicks fan. I almost threw up. And like I said to Sean Deveney from the Sporting News, if they make that inane decision to bring back Isaiah Thomas, I'll tell you how this should go. Adam Silver should take a break from his nice comfy spot in his nice ostentatious office, pick up the phone, and say, hey, James Dolan, you're suspended from the league for 50 years. Because if they bring back Isaiah Thomas, we thought the Knicks were already incompetent. We thought they were already a circus with the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus joke that I make every time. Hey, they closed, but the Knicks are still open. If they do this, and if they hire Isaiah Thomas again, it would be the biggest circus joke I've ever seen. You can't bring this guy back. Be safe, and being smart necessarily doesn't change things because the Knicks are a dumpster fire right now. But bring in Ujiri, bring in Griffin, bring in Presti from the Thunder. Do all those before you even think. And do about 30, 40, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, infinity other ideas before you even think for a millisecond about bringing back Isaiah Thomas to run the New York Knicks. And I will tell you, and I'll say it right now, there is no way that they're going to do this. If they do this, I would be stunned. And I get it. James Dolan is a joke. You don't like him. You shouldn't like him. He's been a jackass. But if he actually goes through with this, and I have to think, and I even have to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I hate giving him the benefit of the doubt, even I have to think he can't be that stupid. And if he does, the only explanation I have is that James Dolan must have sent some naked pictures to Isaiah Thomas. And that's the only reason he has apprehension, and he doesn't want those pictures released. That is the only logical explanation that I could give you on why James Dolan would even think for a slight second to bring back Isaiah Thomas. You just can't do it. He's a disaster. He's awful. He was terrible with the Knicks, and you just can't do it.